Okay, using display capture on this one. Just doing a quick video because people keep asking me about this. One of the things that people need to be aware of here in Hero Wars is with our heroes and our titans. Every time you upgrade a hero or your titan, anywhere you have a PvP aspect, you have to update your teams accordingly. So there's your titans, and there's my titans. All these. Now, one of the problems I find as a guild leader is I come in and I go to the guild and I go to plan the defense or whatever and allocate signets. Here you'll see hero power and titan power. Now, one of the things I look for is a set type of power before I allow my players into the guild war. Now, with Clash of Clans it's a little different. It's an everybody thing, but I still assign our most powerful players. So here, hero power, titan power. If you don't update your teams, that power doesn't grow. So you end up playing with teams that, if you say you've had your team for a week, and you've upgraded them every day in that week somehow, you know, either because you're a pay-to-win player or because you've just worked hard at it. Either way, whichever game style is yours. The power of whatever you first put them in will remain the same unless you press this little pencil icon here. And you don't have to do much, that's it. You just press it and then press OK. That's your team updated. Unless you want to change your hero or your titan team. So you just do that and that. And that's it. And you do the same with Clash of Worlds. You go to your defense. You press that button. Do that. Save. Same here. Do that. Save. You don't have to change anything other than that. All you're doing really is just refreshing the hero's power. So anyway you've got a PvP aspect, you have to do this. So that also includes the arenas down in the single player area as well. So these bits down here. Now there's my current teams, and not really the best team, but they could probably use a refresh because I have upgraded them since then. And it will read their levels, but it doesn't read their power. And I do need to finish off with this team. I mean, I don't really want her there. I've got a different player coming in for that one. It's the same here in Arena. I mean, obviously here, you know, a lot of us have noticed we've got, unfortunately, what we call gate blockers in our server. So some of us are doing this. Literally finding our weakest hero, putting a pet in, putting our weakest hero in, and putting it in to allow people to actually get the achievements in the seasons and the dailies. Obviously, you know, it affects our rank a little, but we don't actually mind because, you know, if we're good enough players, we can get back up. It's really not that of a big deal. But you'll see people doing this, putting their weakest teams in.
I've done that.
Most of my guild does this because, and I can't remember how to get out to that now. It's been so long. Rankings. There we go. Guild activity tournament dungeons. I mean, basically, out in the Guild War sections, I think I have to go to Guild War to see the ranks of them. Sorry, I haven't done all this stuff for a while now. My members haven't actually asked for info on this. Leaks, there we go. These 5 teams sitting up in gold. Now, to be fair, Ninja Warriors have really worked hard to get at it. But the others, they actually make sub-guilds. And as you can see, we're holding 7th in silver. Get to the gold leagues. And it's always some subsidiary, except for Kist. Kist are often in and out of gold. They're actually one of our allies. Huren, Vanguardians, Contrail, Apicaro as we call them. I'm probably murdering that. Sorry, Russian peoples. And Utakata. These guilds, and we actually have one currently with us here, Iskandria, and the other subsidiary city, Huren. These guys have made sub-guilds, and what they do is they take all their members out. All the members rejoin the Gold Guild. Then come by the end of the week, all the members will suddenly leave the Gold Guild and reappear in one of these guilds just long enough before a weekend fight comes up. And they will gate block people coming up from silver, or they will come into bronze in the qualifying leagues, shoot up early in the week, get into silver and gate block silver. But because some of us have actually, really stuck at what we're doing and we're getting there, and, Brutal Warriors, TMC Avengers are among them, they have slowly destroyed our server doing this by gate blocking. So instead of staying in their guilds, they leave their guilds, form sub-guilds, with the pure intention of stopping other guilds from progressing. And they know that they've got 1 or 2 players that can gate block that. So instead of everyone getting up here on merit, we've got a select few who block. And I doubt we're the only server that's suffering this, because a lot of our guys have moved to other servers. So some of this may have carried across to other servers as well. And it's quite disheartening. It's sad, and it is killing the game. I mean, the game's repetitive enough without people ruining the game for everyone else, essentially. And it's not considered cheating. And to be fair, Hero Wars themselves have tried to stop this by making it so that if you drop out of a silver league and you go into bronze league, you're not allowed to play for 4. I think it's well, it was 3 days. I think it's a week now. And if I remember, they've done the same to the gold players. So what they do now is just go out, make a subsidiary guild, shoot up the ranks from down in the qualifiers, and then sit and gate block in silver with their new subsidiary guild. It's disheartening, to say the least. And yes, I've got 2 accounts. The reason for this is my sister used to play, and she's given up, and I took over her account. And we just use it as a backup account, really. I don't make subsidiary guilds. I did think about it for a while to train some of our lower players, and keep them where they were better qualified rather than holding back our better players. But in the end, I decided it was just better to stay as a whole guild. So yeah, there's my second account on my multiple tabs. This is actually my main account. This is the one I do focus on. Let's see, guild leader. Actually, is there anyone else with 0s? I'd like to give everyone at least a gift if I can. I don't give myself gifts until everyone has at least 1 gift. I'm just like that. So yeah. Grand Arena. Where's it going now? Whatever. I'm not spending money today. I don't have any money in my account. Sorry, guys. So let's see. Yeah, here's my other team. This is my main character's team. As you can see, I've got a 1/3. That's what my other team on my other account will eventually look like when I've got this guy up. This guy steals energy from players. So yeah, this is supposed to be a quick tutorial, really. Okay, didn't mean to click on that. We have too many guild secrets to launch over the internet. In our guild, we focus on being a team. Literally, just focus on being a team. Let's make sure I have updated those, because I did do some upgrades to my teams yesterday. So we're going to go and attack Fahrenheit. Let's see how this goes. There's already been reports from other players that they think he might be a cheater, so I've actually put a report in on that. I mean, I know my team isn't as strong, nowhere near as strong. But that does seem a bit... And don't get me wrong, Refugium have got some pretty good teams. It's just that one player, this guy, seems a bit suspect in their team. And that's, I don't know if he's cheating, I don't know if it's a game glitch. I mean, there's so many things that could go wrong. I don't like to assume the worst, so I'm going to assume for now that it's a glitch. Because some days, we can come in and we can beat him, no problem. Which also seems a bit weird, especially when his teams are stronger than ours. But I'm not going to waste my attack on him. Let's see. I don't really stand a chance against many of these, to be honest. And this is a gold team that's dropped down to gatekeep, so... And they do that through not making any attacks, by the way. They just let other gold teams beat them, so it drops them down to silver, so they don't have to wait a week. I mean, no matter who I go for, really, it's all gonna sting. Oh, well, that's actually a pretty good team. So this is what I mean. I don't want to completely diss the guy. I mean, that is actually a good team. I mean, I wouldn't put that person there personally. I would switch that out for Dorian, maybe. And that one for Jet, but he may not have Jet. So instead of Martha, I'd have Jet. And instead of the monkey, I'd have Dorian. And I'd probably have Fenris rather than Bubbles Boy. And that is a pretty good team. I'm pretty impressed with that. So yeah, see, I do try to give credit where it's due too. I really don't want to assume the worst of this guy. I might have to readjust my own team for that one. Bubbles. I don't think Albus is going to pull it. Then again, I need to redress my pets as well. I don't think Dorian's the best choice, not with her. Let's see. Don't want to take Yasmin out. She's one of my better heroes. Don't really want him either. That is a tough choice because I am so limited. I'd normally go with him, but I'm still leveling him up. Actually, maybe hit her for silencing of Martha. We'll see how we go. I'll probably lose, which is fine. I know I'm going to lose, so whatever. We don't really play this to be serious anyway. The Lonewolf clan isn't about seriousness of games. We play for fun. If we win, it's a bonus. If we lose, oh well, try again later. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, I thought I'd lose. So look at the info. Well, his Hindi is pretty good, actually.
Heidi.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's apparently the best dodger, but outside of that, he's...
I'm going to say I'm mildly impressed. That is a good team. And I'll be keeping in mind that team for myself, actually. But like I said, I'd probably switch out Heidi for Dorian. Sorry, not Dorian, for Jet. And her... But yeah, so basically, instead of these two, I'd have Dorian and Jet. Not that my Jet's very powerful right now. I think he's like a grand total of level 1 right now. Let's go have a look. It helps if I go to the right tab. Let's go down here to Heroes. Scrolly. I haven't got Cleaver yet. Yeah, Jets. So let's see, there's Jew. Okay, I might have leveled my Jet up. Okay, so let's start from the top and work slowly down. Galahad, Dante, Kara, Jordan, Morgan, Aiden, Corvus, Advari. Now this guy, if any of you are having trouble with Faceless, this is the guy you want to focus on. He roots himself down. So Anvari is a good anti-Faceless Karka team up. And if you team him up with Jorgen, Galahad, and if I can find him, Andvari. So as Alvanor and Andvari are the good two for the Faceless Karka team. If you can get those together, because he supports Andvari, Andvari roots himself down, which then allows the rest of your team to get in and do their job. Alvanor also heals, by the way. But yeah, it's one of the things I am absolutely sick and tired of coming across is the endless Faceless and Karka teams. It's like, guys, have some imagination, please. I will probably have a Faceless and Karka team myself at some point. There's Jet. So yeah, my jet's not very high. Level 40. Whoopee. But yeah, he's not the hero I'm focusing on right now. The hero I'm focusing on right now is it no, I don't think it is Andvari. Okay, who was I leveling? Oh, okay, it is Andvari on this one. See, that's the other trouble with having two accounts. You start to lose track of which hero you're leveling up. I really need to do my arena. I've been lazy on that. So I'll just have to do this the hard way. Now another thing, if you're new to the game, believe it or not, the raid is not ideal for your guild power. By guild power I mean guild activity. You really should be doing them manually to get the best guild activity, but that does, and I'm afraid, get tedious. I mean, I'd love to say good things about it, but it does get tedious, and I'm going to have to admit that we all just hit raid. So if you're a new guild and you're just starting to grow, you know, at least to start, do it the boring way. Do the start. So press the start instead of these raids. But if you're just leveling up heroes, you know, raid is the quickest way. I'm not going to spend my gems, no. Saving my gems. Another key factor, save your gems for as much as you can. If you're a free-to-play player, I mean, I can easily buy mine if I so choose to, but I actually do discipline myself. I don't like to have too many monies spent on any game, not mobile or otherwise. And just because, you know, we're living in a difficult time right now, and I don't want to take away from the game devs. You know, I do spend. It's just I'm disciplined on how much I spend. So, let's see. Yes, there's another question I get. Dungeon. What is the point of dungeon? Well, being level 130, I get these. And I've completed all these quests, and I've basically made my way down. The point of the dungeon is we want Titanianite. Now, I'm going to actually skip a lot of these because I can. This Titanianite adds up. It adds up as guild activity, so it helps your guild. And because I've got over 150, I can show you what else it adds up to. Daily quests. Titanianite collected, over 75. See these little orbs? Summoning spheres. So for every 75 or so on your daily, and you need to do it on a daily, you'll get 2 of these. So when I complete that, another one will come up. So you're looking for these summoning orbs. These allow you to summon titans. See? You get 2. I can go up here and I can show you where to get those, where you use those summoning orbs. But you need to be in a guild to use all this entire feature up here. This is the guild only area. So, summoning circle. There they are. I've got 4 today. I can probably get more if I go through that dungeon a bit more. And in it, you summon Titan orb bits, basically. Now, I've actually got a few Titans to max start. Not the Dark and Light Titans, though, because they are new-ish. And I refuse to spend, so I'm going to get rid of... Oh, I don't have any to get rid of. It was all Light and Dark Titans. So here is your Titans. As you can see, for some of them, I've already got maximum amounts of fragments. Just not for the new Titans. So the Dark and Light ones I'm still trying to get. But those things that come out of the rainbow orbs basically amount to you, which I can show better on these guys, getting this. So you can evolve your Titan. Hopefully I've got enough. Yep. See, so she's gone from 4 stars to 5 stars now. I assume it's a she. So it's, yeah, it gives you soul stones basically. So when you say get more, takes you to there. So Titan Knight from the guild dungeon here equals guild activity points and Titan soul fragments. I do actually think that the dungeon is due a bit of an update. It doesn't drop much in the way of potions. I mean, it does add up over time. But it's these soul stones. They're still the old Titans. I think the Dark and Light Titans could use being added in to the dungeon now at this point. I mean, we've had them a little while now. We don't have a super titan, I don't think, for the golden light and dark titans that I'm aware of. I might be wrong. I might be completely misreading the titans altogether, and there probably is one. But yeah, so that adds up to your guild activity. Guild activity, in turn, gives me, as a guild leader, the ability to give you, guild members, gifts in presents. So it all ends up here. So I can then, the guild master can choose to send presents when the guild receives daily activity rewards. See? So this is what I get to send you. So I get to send you a titan potion, a whole summoning sphere, and some golds. Now, sometimes if you've been in a situation where you've done everything and you need like 1k gold, it can be a lifesaver. So yeah, if my guild do say, oh, I really need a help with some golds today, or I could use one last summoning orb, I can give them that gift. And like I said, I try to be fair with the presents. And there are some players here now that have two, because yesterday everybody had one present. So I wasn't sure who was about to run out and not have a present. But I can see today who I need to give gifts to, because they're now reading as 0. And I'll be making sure they get gifts, because I like to give gifts before I give myself gifts. I like to try and make sure my whole guild grows. I don't know how many other guild leaders out there like that, but that's how I play things. I look after my guild. And unfortunately, I have been losing guild members to inactivity. It happens to all of us, and it's in large part because of the players I was telling you about that are gatekeeping. It makes it unfun for players, and players quit, and servers die. So our server could actually use some fresh blood into the server. I don't want super powerful players, because we've got enough of those gatekeeping. But yeah, our server really does. Literally, our server is very. I mean, people do talk in here, but as you can see, the last real post we had was the 26th of the 3rd, and today is the 28th. There was a time when you couldn't scroll down and see last week's chat. In fact, you couldn't see 10 minutes ago's chat because it had gone off screen. Now we're seeing server messages are flooding the chat, and there's, you know, messages from a few days ago now being shown. Now, I don't care what nationality people are from. You know, if you're going to play, you're going to play. It's just don't ruin the game for others. And most of all, don't cheat. There's no need for it. So yeah, what server are we actually? I've forgotten. And then I go and click on entirely the wrong chat. Okay. Server 63, Dusk of Generations. So yeah, we definitely have room for new blood in our server. So if you're in a server that you find that you've got severe gatekeeping going on, drop to an earlier server. You can't go forward, as I remember, because you can't join new players until after the server's reached a certain age. But you can drop back, and there's plenty of older servers that have space, and I mean a lot of space for new players, and guilds that will snap you up. Yes, we're one of them. There's other guilds here on this server that are also like that. Guild Wars. Leagues. Because there's a lot of these guilds. Now, Silver, Ninja Warriors, they've just dropped in from Gold, so they've been knocked out again, even though they work hard. I suspect they lost against our friends Kissed of Souls. I pronounced that right. It's terrible. But there's a lot of guilds here, like Gildy McGuildface, Just for Fun, Pawnee Park and Rex. These guys, up until recently, were a challenge to us as a full packed up guild, which we're currently not. I mean, this is us here, 7th in silver today. And I run a round table system, so I basically, you know, I have knights errants, knights of the round. There's, you know, as you can see, I've made some of them leaders. I call them co-leaders. Because if you make it into my Knights of the Round, you are basically, as far as I'm concerned, you have as much power as the king themselves. You know, we're talking Camelot round table level stuff. And I'm actually the guild leader, so technically I'm the Queen of Camelot, so that would probably make me, if I'm going on the honourable spectrum, I'd be the Lady of the Lake. Not the French lady that betrayed her husband. So yeah, there you are. That's me, Lady of the Lake. Squires are our basic members. There's a couple due for promotion, I think, in my squires at the moment. Danny and Darkness. And Samurai. Samurai's done a lot of work for us lately. It doesn't show here today. This is their daily today's activity. They haven't been online yet. And Samurai is in Japan, so he won't be online now for a few more hours. But there's a lot of guilds that I've seen become inactive. And look at them. 0. Bronze. Now I can see which ones are hanging on, because they actually have some guild activity. And yes, we do try and bring some of their leaders into us. These two are subsidiary guilds, so you can guarantee by Friday these guys will be causing us trouble in near silver, especially on the Saturday where they'll be looking to knock us out of silver. That's these two were two of my favourite guilds, Solidarity and J-Spirit. J-Spirit used to be one of our allies, but I've not seen any activity in them now for quite some time. So you can see what this gatekeeping is doing to our server. It is killing servers, and I know our server isn't alone, and that's sad. I wish players didn't do that, because it does ruin it for everyone. Clash of Worlds. Clash of Worlds is basically a guild war that involves everyone. Now I need to check defence, because we did lose a couple of players to inactivity this morning. Yeah, I don't want to see my defence. I want to plan. Planning. It helps if I click on planning, doesn't it? For it to load. And yes, I do have a lot of tabs. Okay, so there's no gaps. I don't want to give anyone free points. I mean, if I can only give them easy points, it's still easy points, but it's not free points. So we do actually still have enough to block up our hero, well, our citadels and stuff. Now, a tip for the newer players, older players, if you haven't learnt this, well, it's for you too. Make sure you put your most powerful players on what we call high value targets. So block your bridges with your highest players. Block your gates with your highest players. And block your citadel with your highest players. So basically anywhere that gives passage that opens up an area, block it. Forget the lighthouse, you know, put whoever in the lighthouse, just not your strongest. Block the bridge. Block the gates. Block this bridge. Block those gates and block that. Everything else is low value or medium value. High value are anything that opens up the map that allows them to access these other targets. And everyone aims for the citadel, ultimately. I actually, you know, try and tell our guys where to attack. Are we in for one? Oh, we are in for one. Okay. So let's see how we're doing. I haven't assigned attacks today. We're already nearly past the bridge. Let's have a look. I might be able to chip down a bit on the bridge. There we are. There's one I can kill. Probably shouldn't use my best team though. Let's use my second best team, which is still a bit in need of work by a lot. But my Sylvia is actually already quite nasty. She's deceptive. I'm not saying she's great, but she is deceptive. She's more powerful than she seems. Except today. But she has hurt him, so maybe I should have just come in with my best team. I'm building up an earth team so that eventually when I get the earth totem, if it ever drops, I'll be able to do some damage. So yeah, there you go. But as you can see, even they've done it. Their best teams are on the gate, so they're all level 120 minimum here. And we do actually have teams that can take on their teams, but it costs us. So by the time we've taken on their best team, that leaves us with our second best team to take on the Gates. And as you can see, even their second best teams are something of a challenge to us, which is fine. Absolutely fine. You know, this clash of worlds is a bit random. Some days we get easy teams, and they're probably feeling miserable because they've got us. And other days we get really difficult teams that you can't pass because it's a whole team of play-to-win players. And we feel miserable because we're at a loss. Now, I do try to push on my teams. Just have fun. Our guild is about trying to have fun. I don't care if you're a pay-to-win player or a free-to-play player. We will do our best to support you either way. Yes, free-to-play players do drag us back a bit because it's harder for them to get stuff. And I get that because, you know, there's some weeks where I have to be a free-to-play player because my money's not coming or whatever. Okay, we'll buy a bunch of those then. I need to upgrade my Titans anyway. So there we go. Skins. I'm still focusing on my core one. This is my Sylvia. Like I said, she's deceptive. It says she's level 87, but her artifacts, you know, they're a bit higher than they would be if she was an 87 usually. So she can actually do pack some punch sometimes. I say sometimes. I do need to work on her. She's not going to last too long against a level 120 team, as you saw earlier. But I've also got these guys. Now, I'm not completely done yet. The max level of the artifacts is 120. So I'm getting there. I try to get the health ones up as much as possible, so that's why you see me saving my monies. So we've done that. Let's go over here. This is another one that to level up your Titans you need to pay attention to. Now, I'm not going to bother going into full combat mode on this today because I know I can't win against one of the teams that I come up on here yet. I did try yesterday. But you need to come in here, do your raid, if you have the option of raid, if you've done it, to get these things. Essence of Elements. They help you level up your Titans as well. I'm sorry it's in English. I mainly speak English. My Japanese is incredibly rusty. I haven't had to use it since I was 9. And that's going back a bit now. So unfortunately, as you do, if you don't use a language for a long time, your brain actually starts to forget it. So, Zorad. Let's go attack Zorad. I'm probably not going to win, but you'll see what. So you do this. You go here. If you're free to play, you are going to have to endure the second round of the battle. So let's see if I can do anything. Probably not. Now I can speed up combat because I've currently subscribed. Yeah, there we go. I died. I knew I would. Defense round. Free to play players, unfortunately, you do have to endure this. So I'm going to endure this for your sake, and you won't be able to speed it up either. It's all autoed. If I'm honest, a better defense team would actually be an earth-based team because the earth totem, if you have it, reflects. He's gone for water-based. A good attack team is fire. I'm not sure on the light and dark yet because honestly I haven't got the Titans up high enough to tell you if the light and darks are worthwhile yet. I'm sure somebody who's a pay-to-win player out there has. Honestly, I don't see the point on paying to upgrade because you lose out on much of the game. You lose out on the feeling of a job well done. You just get instant gratification, which lasts maybe a couple of seconds, and then what? What have you got to look forward to the next day? The next round of daily logins? Wow. So, my advice to players out there is don't be in a rush to be the best. Take your time. Enjoy the journey. And dailies are tedious. They really are tedious. This is the one out of all of them that I hate the most. My second most hatred is the dungeon, because that is slow. I've actually cleared this so many times. I'm a level 30. I can just go skip. So I can just go straight to the chests. None of the which buffs do I choose, which heroes do I choose. I mean, I could do that. I can switch to my other account and do that for you if you wanted me to do that. So yeah, it's a pretty boring concept after a while. And I do still love the game, don't get me wrong. It's just, I do think it needs a bit of spicing up. If we get the same events at a timed interval. Now, I do love the events. I just kind of wish we had a skip option when they're doing the talking. Because hardly any of us read the story, to be honest. We just want to get in and get on with the event. There was the birthday event recently that was, I found that both a mix of yay and annoying. And Hero Wars was 7 years old this week, just gone. And we had a birthday cake standing where my heroes are now. Come over here. So there was a birthday cake here.
Goodies.
Yeah, and you get the free goodies. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love the events. I just wish they weren't the same cut and paste. I love working for the stuff, you know, the hard work behind it all. That to me is a big part of the game. But when the event is the same as the previous event, just with a different sort of cover, it gets to be a bit tedious. And one of the things that was really winding me up during that event was the Archdemon. Now, I get him in, I get my points, and as I'm in the middle of collecting my points, he'd start talking. And his speech bubble would lock everything up. So until I'd sat and gone through all his speech bubbles, I couldn't collect the rest of my rewards. And it was very annoying. It's like, give him his moment of speech with us to have the option of points. Yeah. With that totem, it's like I didn't take so much as a scratch. No points. Yeah. So even she's having the same problem with Fahrenheit. It's disheartening for our guild, and it's disheartening for other guilds, I'm sure. I'm really hoping that Fahrenheit is just bugged. I don't want to assume that he's cheating. Yeah, I don't like to assume the worst until it's proven. But I don't believe in coincidence either. I mean, this is our multipleth time going up against him. He actually used to lose against our players, and if he has genuinely grown, yep, kudos to him, you know. But last I checked, totems don't go off within a split second of the game starting, and abilities don't go off every split second. So it seems that when I come up against him, it seems to behave, and yet when I come up with him on my sister's old account, the first attack, at least, seems to be a completely different battle to what's shown in the video. And it just seems either bugged or there's something a bit suspect about that player. And as I understand it from the other players that have reported back to me, there is one player that should actually be able to take him down. He's since left our guild because he's just had enough of these players gatekeeping. He hasn't just left the guild, he's left the game. I haven't spoken to him for a while, and by a while I mean a couple of months, because that's how long ago that he left. He just had enough. He couldn't deal with it anymore. It was ruining the game for him. So I'm still hoping he's bugged, but it does seem a bit too coincidental that we've been coming up against Fahrenheit for a while now. There was a time when we had a player who was a play-to-win player. He had max everything, and he came up against Fahrenheit and he still lost, even though Fahrenheit's titans at the time were lower than his in every aspect. It didn't make sense, and it kept happening, and we reported it down. We were just told, oh, your titans aren't powerful enough, despite the fact our player was max everything and Fahrenheit was around where I am now. It just didn't seem to make sense. Right, so this is the Asgard fight. This is another important battle for the guild. Everything up in the guild tab equals activity points for the guild. In this case, it also equals morale, which goes on to the lead boss. And you want to be doing this because it helps to buff your heroes. I'll show you in a minute. It gets you these... Sorry, I skipped past that one. It gets you these decent items. I mean, ours is taking on currently 105 because our guild is so mixed. We'll just beat these guys. I know my team can beat that. I'm quite confident. This is why I started building 3 teams. I mean, that is another ultimate goal you want. You want a minimum of 3 hero teams and 2 titan teams. Unfortunately, I kind of wish the drop rate on the totems was a bit better. I mean, I've been playing this game for 2 years now, and I have 1 totem, despite even paying to try and get some of those totems. You know, I don't like the random mechanics on this, because I think the totems might just be 1%. So here we are. Right, back to this. So you get these items. That skull item, Radiant Agility Crystal, goes towards how many attacks you can do on the guild boss at the end of the week. You should be able to get 5 attacks by the end of a week. This runs from Monday to Thursday. Friday, Saturday and Sunday are the boss days. Now we run it that our lowest levels attack on the Friday, with everyone else over the level of 100 then attacking from Saturday, Sunday. So basically the first 24 hours it's your low level players attack your boss, and then after that you let your higher hitters go in. It's the only way to make sure everyone gets a decent level of stuff and rewards. So yeah, you get these crystals, which I'll show you what to do with them. I'll come back and attack that. I didn't do it yesterday, so I've got to catch up today and tomorrow. Guild Tree of Wisdom, Astral Seer. I think it's the Spire of Ascension is one of them. This is why it's important to fight the boss, because it gets you some certain crystals. Wait for it to load. Got too many tabs, so it takes a bit longer to load. So yeah, Spire of Ascension. This is what your crystals are used for. The boss helps you get these crystals. Now I'm not actually going to level this guy up today. I should, but I'm not going to because I want to spend it somewhere else. Tree of Wisdom. You'll see they use the same crystals in a minute. Star crystals specifically, these. Ancient crystals of wisdom. So you're looking to collect these and these the most. This is why your boss is so important. You can only get this as in decent amounts off the boss, and you have them to the point where I can't upgrade because I think they're all about 250 for me at the moment. 250 and 40 of those. I've got plenty of them, but not enough of them. Oh, that one's 500. Yeah, so they're all about 250 and I've got 212. So that's what you're looking to get, is these, and it adds to their health and magic, or all of this. Basically, it upgrading buffs their stats permanently. So this is why the guild raid is so important. It forces the guild to work together, so you're going to have to work as a team here and actually try your best. No point changing a good team. Another important aspect is with your teams, you do need to think of synergy. Who work best with who? Now, luckily, this team I've got here is a bit of an all-round team. They tend to match each other quite well. You know, team synergy plays an aspect in every aspect of the game, where your heroes are fighting against something. And for example, Martha is one of your best healers. But you need to add together who's going to work together. So, for example, let's have a look at Aiden. Aiden works well with his sister, Kayla. Now, for ages, I went through, when they first came out, which team actually goes with them. Now, you would expected it to have been these two, Lars and Krista. It's not. Do not pair those with these two. The twins you want to add, which is really a father-daughter combo, is actually Morrigan and Corvus. Now, whoever their supporting person is with them is you know, you can choose whoever. You know, because whoever goes in with that synergy is just going to be an extra wheel that helps support. Now, Aiden also plays the role of a healer, so you don't actually need a healer in the team. And of course, he heals as well. Even though his role is designated tank, he has an ability that heals. So you basically end up with two. Yes, Morrigan's a healer as well. So you end up with 3 healers effectively in that team. So I tend to go with Jorgen with the team, but I will also, you know, whoever, like I said, whoever goes in, doesn't really matter. Sometimes I'll switch that out for Yasmin, or even Galahad, or even, you know, Dante. unless there's a certain other character. So you got to also remember every team has its fatal fallbacks. So I'll even throw in Advari in this team, because this team also works out as a pretty good anti-Karka, especially if you throw Advari instead of Jorgen in. Another team I found, and it was thanks to the birthday event actually, was Jet. We call it Team Jet. It's basically, let me see, who was it? All depends, because my hero's all over the place now. It was Nebula, Jet, Dorian, Sebastian, and where is he? It's a guy that rides around on a spider robot. There he is. Isaac. They were a pretty nasty team. I mean, bear in mind, in the event, everyone gets max-starred heroes. Everything is max-starred in that event. So, you know, my heroes in their current form are not the best team right now, but they will be the best, I think, tech dodge team, I think is the best way to describe them. Tech dodge healing team, when I get them leveled up. But I have no intention of being a play to win. I don't want to do that, because then I've got nothing left to play the game for aside from my guild. And my guild are wonderful, but I'll have nothing left to work for, and that'll start to reflect on my mood, which in turn will reflect the mood of my guild. And they're already down in the dumps at the moment, because we've been coming up against these gold players deliberately jumping out of the gold league and into the silver league to gatekeepers. They're trying to push us back down into bronze at the moment, and we're only just holding in, and it's very annoying. And now we've got them coming up in the bronze with hopes of actually pushing us down out of silver into bronze. And I know my team wanted to get into gold at one point, but honestly, with these gatekeepers, we've given up. We're quite happy in silver for now. We just wish that we could get, you know, what we need to upgrade our titans. And I'll show you my totem. This isn't my best totem. Believe it or not, my sister's account has the better totem. She got lucky and got a second half of the totem, because to upgrade our totems, as you can see, I need gold trophies now, or I need to spend gems, which is why I'm saving my gems. Gift of elements. The only way we can get totems is out of these Titan orbs, and the best way to get them is out of the 100. Now, I have actually spent a good fair amount of gems trying to get them, and I'm actually at the point now, it's like, what the heck happened? You know, I at least got one fire totem once. Ever since then, nothing. And I've spent 500 gems to try and get it. See if that worked. No, I know the 100 is the best, and it used to be you saved up enough of these gems, or you bought gems to get them, or you saved up these Titan orbs and you racked them up to 100, but they've taken away the ability to open 100 when you reach 100. You now have to do them in groups of 10, which lowers your chance of even getting these totems. It's maddening. And I managed to score a fire totem on a one-off, and I think it's when they upped the percentage chance during an event, and I've not had anything since. I would really like the earth totem, but you know, that's not dropping. Water totem isn't dropping. I've been playing, you know, near enough 3 years coming up soon in June, and I've only ever got the fire totem, and I got that once, and it was when I got 100 of them, and I've not had it since. I've had no totem since. In fact, I've quite frequently spent a lot of time going to this store and changing out things I've already got maxed star on. Actually, I need to... before I do that, I should probably check in on Andvari. Do I have him maxed starred or not? Yes, I do. So we'll go focus on Nebula now. So yeah, I mean, the cheating and gatekeeping players do have a massive negative effect on the servers in general and the server health, which in turn is going to reflect on the game health. And I hate to say it, Hero Wars devs, that reflects on your bottom line, because that means you're losing players, which means you're hemorrhaging money because of players that are gatekeeping and cheating. I know you say it's impossible to play on these, to cheat on these games, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret with software of any kind. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is unhackable. If it's software, it's hackable. You just have to have the know-how. Nothing is cheat-proof. Don't ever fall into that trap. That's a trap of self-security, and it's a false security. Anything and everything that is software can be hacked. And you have to remember that. It's just the sad reality, I'm afraid. And I don't condone it. You know, cheating ruins the experience for everyone but the cheater, and eventually what does the cheater get out of it? Some gloating rights that he cheated his way to what? Number one? Or her way to number one? Wow. Then what? You've been number one through cheating for ages. Then what? Wow. What have you got then? Nothing. You can't even say you truly had fun because you were there going, oh, look, I'm beating down all these players through my cheating. Boring. So, yep. Guild raid. Do I have any left at guild raid, or is it just the store telling me I need to do something? Just the store. Ah, yes, right. So the other part of the store. This is those emblem things I was telling you about earlier. This is what they add up to. And it allows you to buy buffs. Now, which buffs you get depends on the team you have, or the 5 teams you have that are likely to be the best choices for you in this instance. I tend to go with Chosen Stars, which helps my healers. Dreamer's Rebellion to help my DPS. Nightmare Energy, which helps everyone. And Marksman of Opportunity if I've got Marksman in my team. But keep in mind, you will only get a set number of these. These can stack up. So you can buy literally all 5 and it stacks up. But be aware, make sure you have the gold to do it first. And if you're like me and you've got maxed Titans to the point that you're getting rid of Titan fragments every day, you know, that's not going to bother you too much. Or if you're a pay-to-win player and you can buy your gold some way, you know, through probably buying a bunch of gems and then doing this thing, a whole bunch, then, you know, whatever way works for you. Oh, got +2. I got 2 +5s yesterday, so I've done that. That's a daily out of the way now. Pet adventures. Now, on my guild's website, we do actually have the easiest maps up. I mean, there's a lot of maps you can take.
Routes.
So there's different routes, but you have to take set routes. You can't just go any which way. It's not about getting to the boss first. For example, I mean, I'm going to come into this one now. I'm going to start at level 9. The people that were causing team play, but they're gone. Oh, Danny's doing one. Okay. So I'll show you here if Danny's doing one. I'll come in with my other account if no one else does. I'm always helping my guild out with this stuff. I can actually do a level 11, but it's a bit more tricky. So, which route's Danny taken? Danny's taking the middle route, so it looks like we're taking no waiting. So he goes down here, across the middle, and up here. Now there is actually one called No Gambit. This allows us to skip this annoying thing here. And you take 31. But I'm going to say it, because it is the biggest problem that I come across, is we have players who then follow the player who's just gone down a path. Don't do this. It's not about getting to the boss first. It's not about getting to that boss quickly. It's about cooperation. So it's one person goes down the path, you go down another path. Now, if you've got decent team players, now my lot, to be honest, we all know the paths at this point, so we don't even need to talk to each other now. Is learn the path that they're taking. Learn which one they're doing. Now, I can see which one he's doing. He's doing no waiting. So I can either go across the top here and take out all these. So the top path would be, for me, would be 2, 6, 10, 15, 20, 26, 21, 30, 36, 25, then over to 39, 42, 44, and then my route would be clear to the boss. So it's not about taking the quickest route, it's about getting these chests at the bottom. So you get the chests, and you can only do that through doing the play. Now I'm actually going to take the top path, because that frees up number 7 for whoever comes in. I can actually take number 7 regardless with this account. So I've picked up my buff. Actually, that's got Jet in it, so I want to remove him and replace it for him. If that fails, I'll use her. It shouldn't fail.
Shouldn't and is.
So I've replaced Galahad with my marksman Dante. I just really shouldn't have problems with them because they are level 101. So whoever comes in now as a third should start at number 7 on this map. If no one's taken up his map when I've done with this, I'll come in as my sister's old account and show you that way. But you do these pet adventures because 1, it helps you with your daily, and 2, it helps you get sort of like what I like to call the purple gluttonous energy cubes for your pets to level your pets up. Also helps you get pet eggs to get pet fragments. Now, to be fair, for the last few weeks I haven't actually been doing pet adventures. I haven't had time. Workload's too much. So here we go. I'm going to go up here. Hopefully you're watching my path. I don't think Danny's going to do no gambit. I'll see in a minute. If he takes 31, he's doing no gambit and I can skip 7. But if he doesn't, I need to take 7 first. So that's why I didn't go bottom first. I went top. It also frees up that middle one. So basically the order of the path on this is you should go middle path, top path, bottom path. And I'm doing that, calling that by how it organises on the map. So I'm taking the top path. Danny's taking the middle path. So middle path is actually the one that you should go down first. And that goes 3, 8, 12, 11, 18, 23, 17, 22, 27, 32. But if he takes no gambit, he'll hop into 31, come back, and then go to 35, 37, and 40. But if he does no gambit, he can't then do boss. So whoever does no gambit can't do boss. But if you're good enough, like those of us, I mean, Danny could probably tackle most of these buffed players as well if he does it. But you should be really going that path, and then whoever takes top path, it goes my path, and then we double back a bit and go round and then go up round there. And the last path, and this is possibly the one that gets defended the most, its bottom path is weird. It goes 1, 7, 1, 3, 4, 13, 19, 28, 34, 33, 38, 41, 43, 46, boss. That's the bottom path. But everyone manages to always miss 7. I don't know why. I think it's because it's out of the way and everyone's just thinking going down. So I was doing this once and I noticed that someone had fluffed and missed 7, and I was at he's doing no gambit. So I got to 27 and noticed they'd fluffed up, and I thought, well, you know what? There's one here I can jump to. So he's taken no gambit, so he's obviously gonna leave it and wait. And I fixed it by just doing no gambit, but I missed out on boss. And then other players took the top. I mean, poor Danny doesn't even know he's being recorded right now. I'll tell him in a minute. So yeah. Oh, and I decided on no overlays for this one because it was just going to be easier to view it, because it's harder to put it into a smaller spectrum for the overlays. I will be sorting out my personal overlays to give more space to gameplay and less distracting images. I mean, I like my foxes and all. It fits in with my aesthetics of name, Black Fox Kitsune. But people like to see the gameplay as much as they see the overlays. So I'm going to be looking at a way of fixing those overlays. I'm going to chat with the artist, maybe see if we can make one with a bigger gameplay screen. And she's a good artist, so do check out Sunny Motions. Mine is not a custom made one anymore. She does do commissions, as I'm aware. But, you know, I didn't want something that was going to be so out of the ordinary that I couldn't mix and match. So she did a bunch of frames, and she's done some alternate versions. There's a red and an orange version of it as well, I believe. I think a blue one now somewhere. I haven't checked for a couple of days. But I liked the purple one, so I went with the purple one. Goes with the void aspect of the black kitsune. Just waiting for him to kill that buff. There we go, buff removed. That's another thing. If you're not powerful enough, do not take on tiles with buffs. It's the second biggest mistake I see, aside from people following the same player's route, which is unnecessary, is people taking on buffed tiles before they're ready to overpower that tile. Now, I can actually do that on this one, but not on the boss. No matter how powerful you are on this one, it seems, even with a max team of 130 everything, we still can't take on that buff when it's fully buffed. So it's like buffed with too many towers and we've got a problem. Right, so I'm going to make sure that whoever takes that bottom route can skip 7. I did that slow down gameplay to allow him to remove the buff so that we could show you. Now he's going to remove the buff to that one, so I'm just going to wait. There it goes. My turn. Now as you can see, he's now got 0 moves. He can't do the boss because he's done no gambit. Now he's learnt that from me, because the no gambit one is actually my trick. Found to fix a mistake. And luckily I was close enough to be able to fix that mistake. I hadn't gone past it. So if you have gone past that particular tile, 31, don't go back. If you're on 32, it's fine because that's perfect. But if you're on 35, don't go back because you won't even get to here if you do that. The bottom player could probably find a way to fix it. If not the top player, it all depends on where the mistake happens and how far advanced the other two paths are. As a 130 player, I can actually take on the buff tiles here, just not the boss. So let's take those down. I did actually used to struggle on this until recently. Like I said, I can actually take on level 11 if I choose to now. I just don't like the team synergies that it has. I don't have the synergy to match it, so I haven't done it properly in a while. It's also not easy for me at the moment to find other players that can. I know Danny can, but he's like me, he drops into a 9. See, look, I even lost a player then, so a hero, sorry. So yeah, you can see, look, that's the second path that I've done. Clears all that. You must remember 25. 25 is the one that gets forgotten on the top path. Sometimes it's 21 that gets forgotten because people forget that they need to come back before they go up the bridge. So they go there and then go across the bridge and up and around and then go wonder what's happened. It's because they've missed 21. So when you get to 26, jump to 21, then go to 30. And when you get to 36, jump to 25, then go to 39. But always wait for these tiles to be unbuffed by the middle path. The middle path is very important in that it takes out all the buffs that block everything else. As you can see, look, we've now got 2 boxes. So it's about getting these chests. Because these chests, as you can see, look, what they drop. Now that's the boss chest. Everyone aims for the boss chest, but we want to get all 4 chests. So it's all about unlocking the 4 chests. So I'm going to switch to my sister's account now. And we'll come into Pet Adventures. Our Samurai Heel's actually on now. I'm going to go complete Danny's for him. I actually have enough charges to help everybody today. Because, like I said, I've been lazy, so I've got the 3 charges from being lazy. So here we are. We're going to take the correct path, even though he's done no gambit, because I want to set a good example. So we're going to go to 7. And if you're wondering why I kept my sister's account, it's in case she changes her mind and wants to come back. So I'm really just safekeeping her account. I mean, I paid for everything on it anyway. But yeah, I kind of hope she comes back someday. And she might not. I'm not going to force her. Everyone's got their decisions to take. Now, this is actually my favourite buff, but, you know, do whatever works best for your team. I have Yasmin in most of my teams, so that end buff is the best one for me. See? Her. I mean, my sister didn't quit because she hated the game. Life stuff just happened. Like I said, she may or may not come back. She's not said one way or the other. Either way, I'm still babysitting her account. Basically making sure she's got something to come back to. Not be miles and miles behind everyone else. And she did used to live with us for a time, so that's how she got into it, was me getting her into it on the laptop, which I also own. So yeah, I mean, it's my stuff, but I just wanted her to join in on something and have something we could share, you know? So. I actually do know some people that have 5 or 6 accounts and they use it to gatekeep. I have no such intention. I've seen it ruin the game for others. I've felt it being ruined, and I don't want to be like that. That's not me. I might loan my alternate account out to another guild, but I will still be using that account. I will not be giving it to a complete stranger. It is me. It will be me. It will continue to be me until my sister wants it back. So yeah, if I loan it out to another guild, it's me loaning myself out to that guild for that period of time. You know, because we do actually, there are guilds here. We do help each other out. So basically, we will swap players for a little while. I'm actually going to go with physical damage now because we've got enough for Yasmin. I mean, I envy the bottom path. They get 2 buffs. Everyone else gets 1. It's mean. And the top path is actually the harder of the paths. Yeah, it's another thing we do as Lonewolf Clan is we guild hop to our allies. So if they've got a low level player, they'll send their low level player to us, and we'll send one of our higher level players to them because they're in gold. So our higher level players can get some gold tokens, and their lower level players can, just come into our guild and get a bit of a free ride and get some silver things to level up their stuff without the hassle. So basically, we help each other out. In the past, it's also been the other way around. We took on their higher level players to let them get some silver stuff while they were stuck in bronze by gatekeepers. So we powered up their higher level players and we sent them back to their original guilds. And their guild was able to actually get back up into silver. And now look at them; they're up in gold. I'm pretty proud of them. Proud to call them friends, really. We're still friendly rivals, we still attack each other in the arenas and everything, and we still go at each other at full pelt in the guild war because we don't feel we'd be honouring each other if we didn't give each other our best. But we're still friends, we'll still help each other out. I also don't care if my own guild attack me in the arena either. It's a free-for-all in there. If I'm not powerful enough and I've got a powerful guild member who's being held back because of other powerful players, and I just happen to be in the position to rank up, go for it. Or she, sorry. And others. Whatever you self-identify as. So yeah, they can use me as a, if you like, a leapfrog stone. They can jump up and they can use me to level up and get higher up in the arena. I actually purposefully drop every so often to get away from the gold players that gatekeep, because if we attack them, even if we lose, they actually actively hunt us out. They keep refreshing until they find us, and then keep harassing us with attacks to drop our level. So I actually deliberately drop myself just to allow my guild to have some peace. I find that a bit petty, to be honest. It's a free-for-all. It's about testing your abilities against other players. It shouldn't really matter what guild you're in. And as you've seen, I also, do the level 1 worst team scenario to allow people to stand some chance, especially when we've got events that demand that we have to do and win 5 attacks in an environment where we've got gatekeepers that deliberately make sure we can't. So that's why we do the level 1 or worst team scenario, because it allows people to at least get that achievement. There you go, look, all 4 chests. So that's what this is actually about. It's not about getting to the boss the quickest. It is about getting these 4 chests. And there you go, look, bit of everything. So I've gotten some pet potions, 5 pet eggs, some more pet potions, and the chaos particles. All of this is needed to level up your pets. So this is why you have to work as a team. Like I said, my lot have been doing this long enough that we actually know each other's steps by what path we take now. And I picked out the easiest paths on my guild website. They actually do have a clan website as well, but I've actually made a separate one just for Hero Wars. It does need a bit of a revamp, so when I get some time off properly, I will do the revamp. Okay, so yeah, here's your pet eggs. I'm actually saving to get 10 because I can open 10 all at once. And it gives you fragments of these pets that you can level up.
Same thing to do with...
same as heroes.
Titans.
Yeah, same thing with heroes, same thing with titans. Don't know if... Oh, yeah, there we are. Because I've got one pet who is leveled up. And here you can buy stuff like this. And I do spend the coins. Here's the Anvari souls, the Satori, the Artemis, and the Astrid and Lucas soul fragments. I spend gold on this because, honestly, I don't get enough pets generally. Now, I've already got Anvari max, so I think we're going to do Satori this time. So, actually, it's just... Yeah, I've got the pet fragment bits. Let's just do that. And then you go to pets and you level up accordingly. Now, I was actually leveling up Oliver, but I'm thinking about focusing on Fenris for a bit. Mainly because one of the teams I'm building relies on me having Fenris. So there's his items. There's the heroes he best benefits. And it's his team that I'm building, and Vari's, that's going to require me to have Fenris. Now, don't get me wrong, Bubbles, as I like to call him, which is Axel, is a pretty good hero for defense. He is one of my favourites, to be honest. Him and Oliver. This guy, teamed with Astaroth, that's the hero that looks like the Grim Reaper with the bubble shield, is fantastic. But he's also great with him. These two... I mean, this guy, I've actually seen in the arena several times where it's just Astaroth and Oliver. Astaroth can seriously hold his own if he's got a healer. And if you've got... But as I often call him, Deku Sprout, because he reminds me of Deku Sprouts from Zelda. If you've got him teamed with Astaroth, Astaroth can seriously stand his own on his own. It's scary. It really is scary. I don't think much of Corvus at the moment, but then again, I've not really got a team to go with him. So, I don't have the Lars and Krista team. I don't know what he's like with the Lars and Krista team. I don't know what he's like with the Satori and... what's her name? Let's see if I can find her. Does she even have a pet page? Surely, oh, there she is. Leanne. So the twins of that synergy is Leanne and Satori. Leanne is an absolute nasty anti-Dante hero. I mean, I've not had her long, so she's still level 1. As you can see, my Dante is maxed. It says I can promote him. That tries me up the wall. Why can I don't know why it says you can promote him. I can't promote him. So what's the point of having the promote button if you can't promote him? That should surely be greyed out right now. In my opinion, you don't get enough of these pet potions either. I'm not spending... Oh, I've spent gold my gems somewhere. Oops. Where did I do that?
Quite by accident.
Oh well. That's saving them from scratch then. I do think there needs to be a warning on the gems. When you go to use them, there should be a "Are you sure?" pop up. Just, you know, because it's so easy to spend them by accident, and I have done that so many times at this point. I've got enough to just buy them up front, so I don't have to go running into the earlier pet adventures. It's nice to have him in the blue, to be honest. See, this is why you need pet adventures, look. It's to level this stuff up. So it's very important to work as a team. Yeah, okay, so that's me talking in chat again. I'm going to go back to my main account now. As you can see, end adventure. Oh yes, another note. If you don't want to end an adventure and you just want to hang out in the adventure for a while, or we've done the boss but there's still a path waiting, one of the things that often happens is people immediately go to end adventure. Press this X up in the top corner. If you go into end adventure, you get here. But if you still don't want to end it, press that X. I'm still in that pet adventure now. So it allows you to wait even if the boss has been done. Now, I've actually done the boss here. Danny did no gambit so that I could skip 7, but I did 7 anyway because I wanted to show a good example of what that bottom path is. Actually, will it load? I actually have a bit.ly link at the top of my guild thing. That bit.ly link is a shorthanded link of the very, very long guild link, lonewolfclan@wix.com/hero wars. Now here, I have actually got the maps. See, Pet Adventures maps 1 to 4. So, there. And these are actually, I mean, I did these for the newbies, really. So you can actually see the adventures of the maps. So, there's one path. There's the other path. Honestly, you can't go wrong on the first adventures. Except maybe take the wrong path. You have a limit. There's 3 players. You have to take set paths to get your boxes. It starts to get difficult at map 2, to be honest, where you have to start taking the set paths. At map 1, it only really needs 2 players, but with map 2, that's where you need 3 players. That's map 3. See, down the middle, across the top. So you don't always go for the boss. Like this one here is a good example of that. Across the top. So they go 1, 4, 12, 13, 8. And then the middle path comes up the middle. Actually, sorry. 1, 4, 13, 8. And then the second path is this bottom one, which is then... This is actually more cooperative than that on this one. I think the middle path has to come in here to take out 5. Then that frees up 2. So then the bottom path can go 2, 3, 7, 10. And that frees up that. And then the middle path can just shoot straight down. And these two, the top and the middle and bottom path, should be able to take on the boss. Then we have map 4. This one is a pain in the behind sometimes. I've actually set out alternate routes in slightly paler colours. So we learnt on this one that it was the first one that needs to happen is the left path. So the left path needs to come up here, and then they stop there. Same up here, they stop there, because it then requires the middle path to come up. Now the middle path can't progress until 2 and 3 are taken out on the left and right sides. So the middle path then shoots up here and then takes out 9 and 14, allowing for these 2 paths to then progress up. So yeah, and then when they get to 14, they can either go to 13 or they can go to 15 and then to 20. But you can only take one of those buff paths. So that's why there's 2 things on that diamond there. But these paths have to stay on path. Otherwise you fail the pet adventure and you only get, well, not enough boxes. But after Pet Adventure 4, it starts to get really, really complicated on Pet Adventure 5. As you can see, I've listed out the paths here. My site actually does support multiple languages. So, you know, I've made it so that different languages can actually come up and do it. I mean, obviously, I've not got as much information as the wiki. We want the wiki to retain its wikidom. And here we are. This is where it starts to get complicated. Now, I've had this one fail so many times, it's unbelievable. Again, this one is another weird one, where the bottom path has choice paths. So, the bottom path needs to come down first, and it needs to come down and hit 7. It must hit 7, because this frees up the middle path, because that tile there is buffed by this tile here. Top path needs to shoot down and go through that. Top and middle path converge here on this buff, and then top path has to go across here and take out those buffs. So they have to go from 1, 5, 9, 10, 14, 17, 20, 27, 25, 21. And then the middle path has to come down 4, 6, 10, 11, 15, 19, and I think that's 18. And then the bottom path has to go 2, 7, 8. Now at 8 he's usually waiting, especially if he's here on 7, or she's here on 7, because they have to wait for middle path to come in and take out 11. Now, a lot of us discovered that you don't have to necessarily do these two, you know, come down here and then go that way. You can go up that way and then come down this way. But this took the least moves we found. But yeah, I often come down the bottom path. I go to 7, go back to 2, and then go to 3, and then come down to 8, 12, and so on. Because by the time I've usually come back up here and gone down there, whoever's gone down here has usually cleared this buff at 11 by then. Now, I'm now powerful enough that I can just solo the path. I don't need to wait. But at the time, that's what we had to do. So you have to follow these paths. It doesn't have to necessarily be this specific path that I've got up on my site. There are other paths. The wiki has loads of them. I think it's map 6. Map 6 is another tricky one when you don't know the paths. Again, it has 3 paths that you go. Now, we learnt some nifty little tricks on this one over time. As again, you can see you go that way. So be mindful of these tiles that are buffed. This is why it requires you to work as a team. You've got to go down set paths. So if someone's gone down on this one, if they've gone down the top path, and there's no one on the middle yet, go down the bottom path, because whoever comes in that third can then go down the middle path, because it's your job to clear out these buff towers. And you know, as the middle path is then cleared, because you've got a buff there on, wow, I mean that is for ants really, isn't it? I think it's 14. I mean, what I'll do is I'll go pop in on these ones in a minute, but yeah. So yeah, you watch these towers with the big owl. I mean, if you want to call them Sauron towers, maybe. Watch for those. Those are the things you need to take out to clear the routes. This is Goodwell City 9. And as you can see, it gets more and more complex the more forward you go. Now, this one has always been a bit of chaos, because you need someone to follow that green path exactly. You need someone to follow that red path exactly. But the blue path is the hardest, because whoever starts has to come down here to 8 first, then go back, then go to 7, go back to 1, then to 11. Then they've got to come down here, but they can't go to this buff tile. Then they've got to go back up and then go up the middle to get to the boss. And it's absolutely crazy. And it just gets more and more complicated. Then there's this one. We call this one Thor's Hammer. The green path has got to stick to their path. Blue path has got to stick to their path. Red path, which is the one we tend to have trouble with, is people forgetting that they need to come up the middle and then take out. The middle path does not go to the boss. So red path on this one does not go to the boss. It goes up the middle and clears the buff towers to allow the blue and the green to get up round and get to the boss. If you work as a team, everybody wins. It's not about beating your teammates. It's about working with your teammates. This is the one I just did. This is City 9. Again, you saw me do this green path. Danny did the red one, but he did no gambit. He went there. And I also did the blue one. So 7, back, then down and around. And as you can see, we have no gambit. Alternate path in the middle, no gambit. The gambit being whoever takes this path has no room for mistakes. To allow one mistake for the other path, you also give up your boss attacks. So that's the no gambit path. So we've listed them out for you. This is Valley 10. This is another complicated one. I do warn you, do not go on to this one unless you are absolutely sure you can take these teams. It's a good thing to test them. Warn people you are testing to see if you are ready, so that no one's expecting to win. And you have to, I actually had to number the arrows on this one to show you the path because it gets that confusing. So this is possibly one of the hardest ones to do because even I fail occasionally on this one still. I think it's best to have your heroes completely maxed out on everything before you even attempt 10 and 11. And as you can see, everyone's again having to go down a set path. I did them as arrows with numbers on for this one to show you which way to go. And again, there, number 10, map elements. Again, I did list out the numbers. So, it's easy to just come into something like this. Even Wikipedia has it. You just come in, you copy, and then type in the chats that are in the pet adventures. Let people know which path you're taking, which one you need. Make sure you separate the paths. Don't, just go in and say like that and copy, paste them, copy them one at a time and paste them in and post them in one at a time. It's more helpful that way. It spaces them out. This is the one I took on recently. I discovered I wasn't fully ready for it the other day. I can do it, providing the synergies aren't too strong in these towers. Yeah, I think this one is one of the more complicated ones. Again, there's alternatives over on the wiki. You just have to work out which one's actually best. But remember, the key really is working as a team. Now, I can only go up to map 12 because map 13 actually doesn't have a map.
Randomised.
It's rather randomised which map it gives you. Also, I'm told. I've never tried 13, so... Yep, see, 6. So we go up there, go around there, and up round there, and then come back round. Now, I think only blue attacks the boss in this instance. So, the middle path. You've got your left, middle, and your right path. Only the middle path attacks, and as you can see, it's extremely dependent on your level. So, yeah. I will be overhauling this site. It does need an overhaul and an update because a lot of changes have happened since I was here. Here's our guild rules, for example. We work as a team. That's our primary rule. And I'll show you how we can even see, because one of the problems we do have is people do not work as a team in our guild war. They don't update their teams. That still continues to be a problem. I also ask that for no personal questions because we never know the age of the people that are playing. I also don't want people being able to be doxxed. No discrimination of any kind, and I am talking every kind of discrimination out there. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear people being Karens. I don't want to hear people attacking someone because of the skin tone or whatever their preference of identity is. And I also want to keep kids safe. There's two big peeves. I don't like animal abuse and I don't like child abuse. So yeah, these are two big peeves I try and keep out of my guild, and I will kick people if I see it. Keep the guild a fun and welcoming place. One of the most common rules you'll find across all of my guilds, no matter where I write the rules. Lonewolf Clan has it as well. The aim is to have fun. So let's try and make it a fun and welcoming place for everyone. Communication is required. Now, unfortunately, this does sometimes mean language barriers are an issue. While I do like everyone from everyone around the world, I like to make new friends from wherever in the world. If we can't speak the same languages, we're going to have problems. We can't work as a team if we can't understand each other. Now, some of us do try to use things like Google Translate or WeTranslate to try and translate each other. It would be nice if Hero Wars actually had a translator, because it would facilitate this a lot better. So yeah, it's a case of I really do want to see communication in our guild. I don't care where you are in the country as long as you try to communicate, even if you're using Google Translate. Another thing that really annoys me is lazy players. So one of our rules is get a name. Team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for example. It drives me up the wall when someone's got into the game and can't even be bothered to give themselves an identity. They just call themselves whatever the game's default name for them was. Guild house cleaning. I do actually do cleaning from time to time. If I've got, for example, some really inactive players that have been inactive for 6 months and I haven't got the auto kick on, I will prune them out if I need the space. But mostly the ones I tend to kick out are the ones that we call sabotagers. They come in, they block space to prevent new players from joining us. We've had that as well. And people that go out of their way to break our team play. So they come in, they join our guild war, for example, wait until we're all locked into guild war, then they leave our guild and then rejoin our guild right after they've caused a free spot. And they know we can't add anyone in to replace them. Absolutely hate players like that. Another one is they get into the pet adventures and deliberately sabotage that by wrecking it, which, regardless of whatever we've asked them to do, multiple times of being nice. And obviously, we've got my Discord community rules as well for our Discord. And I've got some how-to basics. These are things I do need to change because the game has updated them. Some text guides by other players, we've added those as well, including the Hero Wars fan wiki. Video guides, so people that do video guides do tutorials are a lot more in depth than mine. I mean, mine's just introducing you, really. How to find the gifts. Now, that's another thing. This is a tab, when it loads, that you need to keep an eye on. This menu tab. Now, beforehand, I mean, that's another thing that's changed, so I need to update that. You go here. Everyone keeps asking me, where do I keep getting the free gift links from? It's here. Right here in their news tab. Literally right here. Level Up Anvari, for example. Right? I haven't given anything for that. Domination Dolls. Haven't given anything for that. But, free boxes. There you are. Click here, get free boxes. Birthday event, I think they were giving out stuff. Okay, not on that one. There we are, look. Click here for 1,000 energy, 1 million gold, and 5 large stone chests. Skin stone chests. So, you know, it's worth keeping an eye on that little tab in the corner. And I'm not going to do it today because I really don't need those boxes. But keep an eye on the news tab for a little red blip. Even if it doesn't have a red blip, just, you know, click on it and drop in to their news tab, because it does have free items. I mean, they're constantly throwing free gifts at them. Free gifts at us, sorry. And that's another kudos to the game. I mean, he tries to make us feel good playing this game. So, you know, it is a game worth playing, even if it's just a little time waster of a game. Let's see who else needs help in Pet Adventures. Who's doing what? Am I capable of helping? It's probably easier if I just drop out down here, isn't it? Do that one. So Samurai's doing seats number 5 and Hellspawn's doing... Okay, so she's actually doing our beginners one. I'll drop in on that. This is an easy one. Really easy one if you're just looking to have a quick fix. If you're good enough, you can literally just zoom around, and as you can see, Hellspawn's done just that. She's gone 2, 3, 5, 6. And as you can see, there's the boss chest. So just to prove to you on this, rather than end the game, just click the X. When you come back in, it will take you back to that pet adventure, see? So I'm just going to click these to prove it to you again. It'll say end adventure to me now. Oh no, it's not doing it anymore. Now, if you find yourself stuck in a pet adventure, log. Leave adventure. I get asked that a few times, just because there's some players out there that start adventures with the sole purpose of trapping other players in. So yeah, if you find yourself trapped in one of those where you're trapped in there for a week and that player that started it isn't moving, or you've got a sabotage player that's gone in there and isn't moving, just hit that. Just hit log and leave. It's better to leave a failed adventure than it is to stay stuck in one that's making you miss out. And they do it on purpose. Yep, there we go. That's the last chest. So, yep, just log, press leave. And you can do that even if the adventure's cleared or not. I think I'll let others help Samrai, or if he's not got players in by this evening, I'll help him then. I must have spent it here somewhere. Did I do dungeon for this one yet? Yes, I think I did. Yes. Oh, did I do the tower for my main one yet? Yes. Right. So I'll go check over on my sister's account then. Probably haven't done the tower for her yet. I usually haven't. So I can do instant clear. And it's going to make me do instant clear. So it looks like once we hit level 130, once we've got that instant clear, we can't actually do the tower. I was actually hoping to show you about the buffs, but apparently not. I'm going to have to make a third account somewhere to demonstrate that on a different server though. Just to demonstrate the beginning stuff. I wasn't planning on keeping that account. It's hard enough keeping mine and my sister's account. So I'm just going to shoot up this tower. Doesn't matter what box you pick. And if you wanted to spend gems, you can. I can't be bothered. Like I said, I'm saving my gems. Although for some reason here, it's telling me I've got 17 gems again. And yet when I'm out on the main thing, it's telling me I've got 300 gems. That's weird. That must be a bug. Claim all of them. So just to clarify, 17 gems. Oh, okay, but probably because I'm thinking of my account, which still has 300 and something odd gems. I've probably spent them on something like this. I usually do accidentally spend it on something like that, which is why I think spending of gems needs to come with a quick warning of, are we sure that's where we want to spend them? Not because I think that people are daft, but because accidents can and do happen, and you know, I'm not sore about it. I can get those gems back easy enough with some gameplay. Another thing I'm actually having, daily bonus. I don't know if there's anyone else that has it. I think this one's actually, she's actually caught up, is she? No, 28th. Even though I am on every day and I click these, for some reason, sometimes I'm quite far behind, even though I click on them every day. I find that I'm clicking on the same one twice sometimes. I think it's my main account that's got the issue with it. Daily quests. Got another one there for Pet Adventures. Special events. Daily logins. Yeah, look. This. 26. I've only just got day 25. Even though every day I come into special events. I mean, literally, when I first log in, I go through all of these. All of them. And make sure I've picked up everything, and yet here we are, daily things, and I've only got as far as 25. It just seems a bit odd. So I am aware there are glitches on the game that pop up, which is why I don't want to assume the worst of that guy Fahrenheit. You know, I'm hoping he's suffering something similar. So yeah. Anyway, that was a weird introduction to Hero Wars, I guess. I'll be posting this on my guild's website. I'm going to have a blog spot. I used to update the website every week with things like what my hero team rosters were for Guild War, which heroes were being picked for what signets. I can't be bothered with that right now. Come back and do that in a minute. So yeah, I used to tell my guild who was going to be posted on where, or rather, if they had a signet, I should say, and on what days, because it used to be we used to cycle our teams around, but as our team shrunk and only certain members were growing, we stopped doing that. And I also didn't have time to keep doing that, because when I did do that, I didn't just had to post up who it was that was in. I was having to translate it into, I think it was 11 different languages at the time, because our team was that mixed, and it was just taking too much time, way too much time. It would take me 8 hours to do what would essentially in my own language be a 5-minute post, and that was because I was having to make sure it was grammatically right, because Google Translate is terrible with context. I'm sorry, Google, but you're terrible with context. You're great for word translation, but you lose the context of the words. So you don't get the right words in the right contexts. That is the problem with language, sadly. Maybe with AIs things will improve. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I've done all of this. I always make sure I've at least got the 6 and 3 hours done. So all of them. Not going to open my boxes because I'm saving my keys. I like to get 10 keys before I open it. That's the other thing for doing the Guild Red 4 is it completes the weekly quests. This is my main. Is this my main account or is this Chrome? Is it Fox Cadera or Fox Kids? It's Cadera, right? So I think it's Kayla. Yeah, it's Kayla. So we'll do a glyphs. This also adds to guild activity as well. So make sure you do your glyphs. I had one member who used to be really good at recruiting for me. He would only do 1 glyph a day, so he'd give me 75 guild activity a day. And I only let him off because he was 1 member. And I didn't want to lose him at the time because he was absolutely pulling in the guild members when we were down to 5 members. I mean, he's since moved servers, sadly. He got poached by another player. That's another thing. You will find that poaching is a problem in this game. It is part of the game. But there is a way of stopping that. I'll show you in a minute. If you don't want to get the poaching emails from other guild members, from other guilds, you can lock off your whispers. Now, I've got one guild member that makes this a nuisance. He locks off all whispers. Or private messages. So that's Kayla catching up now. Okay, so let's go down. It's here. I turn off all of this. I've turned off the music because 1, it gets repetitive. It's the same tune over and over and over and over and over. And 2, because this is YouTube and we know what YouTube's like about music. Sound volume, I just don't like the sound effects. And the shake effect annoys me, so I don't do that either. Complete skills. So chat and message settings is the one you really want to be talking about. I've got a profanity filter on because I really don't like seeing cuss words. That's just my thing. Now you can see, as a guild leader, I've got everyone coming into me. But honestly, if you don't want to be getting poaching guilds from everybody outside of the game, click guild mates only. So your guild can contact you, but you're not going to get those annoying poaching messages from outside of your guild. All users allows you to talk to everyone on the server, and nobody cuts off everybody, even your guild mates. So I often, if I'm having a really bad week with people that are trying to poach me, and it did used to happen, I just switched to guild mates only. I think I've said no enough to a lot of them that they've now stopped asking me. And instead they try to poach guild mates out from under me. Now I know that's part of the game, but you don't need to lie to do it. Now we have one here called Basilisk, who used to play here. Tricked 2 of our best players out by claiming he was our alternate guild. Now, I know poaching is part of the game. I get that. But don't lie to your players. That's pretty much, where I draw the line on the poaching thing. I try not to poach too much, to be fair, because I do like to see other guilds growing. I want fair competition going on. It's more fun if I'm playing against and with people on this game, because that's what it's about. So we have helped other guilds grow, as I said earlier. Kist of Souls, for example, was one of them, but equally they've helped us grow as well. So there's some give and take. You can form some good friendships on here. It's just a shame that unfortunately we've got what's called the gatekeepers in this server, and they are ruining the experience for everyone else, either by cheating, which is the worst case scenario, or just flat out making it so that you can't progress, which of course is making our players bored and feel discouraged, and they're leaving the game. And that's not a good situation for anyone, and it's especially not a good situation for the owners of the game. Unfortunately, we did have a lot of people leave the game because they don't understand geography. They were under the impression that Zenimax/Nexters is... Sorry, not Zenimax, I apologise, you're not Bethesda. Basically, the next is they thought was owned by a Russian company. They're not. They're owned by a Greek company. Completely other end of Europe. Or Europa, sorry, because it includes Asia as well. Russia is up near the North Pole, guys. Greece is down in the Mediterranean, you know, that sunny, nice, hot place where snow doesn't exactly fall very often, and is an earthquake capital of Europe. They're down on the south side of Europe. Russia's up on the north, nearing the North Pole. I don't know how Americans got that confused, but then again, I have seen YouTube videos where some of you can't even put your finger on Japan. I don't know what the state of your geography is over there, but yeah, Greece is not Russia. They're two entirely separate countries that have nothing to do with each other. So the owner is Greek, not Russian. He just takes a neutral stance with his business. He doesn't want to get involved in politics, and let's face it, it is politics. He's just about making business and making a fun game. Everything else is politics, and unless the government asks him to do something, he's not going to do it. So yeah, we had a whole bunch of hate going on. It's like, oh, you're a Russian company, we're going to boycott you because you're Russian. And it's like, what? What have normal people in Greece got anything to do with what's going on with the governments and what they're doing to each other in various countries? Absolutely nothing. So you're just hurting a normal person like you and me who happens to be Greece, that everyone mistook for Russian because they can't tell the difference between Greek and Russian alphabets. But yeah. So we lost a lot of players due to that propaganda, which was completely pointless. I mean, I'm just gonna say, folks, double check your facts before you believe what you're told. Rumours are often just that, harmful, hateful rumours, because someone felt sore somewhere and decided to cause trouble. So don't always cross-check what you're told. Don't just be told. Cross-check. Think for yourselves. Learn for yourselves. You know, don't just go off and over the fence chit-chat. Actually, you know, be an independent individual who uses your brain noodles. And that applies to everything in life, really. Not just gossip and politics, but everything. It's always better to find out firsthand than to just go off hearsay. You'll be a lot better off in life for that in general. Okay, so I'm going to end this video. If anyone wants other tutorials or more in-depth tutorials, let me know in the comments below. And we'll see where we go from there.